Welcome to Developer Roadmaps. Mastering the fundamentals of CSS is an absolutely crucial checkpoint on your journey as a developer. It's the skill that takes a plain, structured document and transforms it into a polished, professional application. So let's go ahead and place our first marker on the map. I mean, this is the central question, isn't it? We always start with the skeleton, the raw HTML. But how do we give it life? How do we give it style and structure? Well, the answer is a language designed specifically for this purpose. And that language is CSS. You can think of it as the artist's toolkit for the web. It controls everything you see, the colors, the fonts, the spacing between different elements, and yeah, ultimately, the entire layout of the page. Now, before we can really build anything cool, we have to learn to speak the language. So the very first checkpoint on our roadmap is understanding the fundamental syntax. The basic grammar of CSS. Okay, so here's a classic problem you're going to run into immediately. Imagine you've got 3 buttons on a page, maybe subscribe, join, and tweet. If you just write a style for the button element, all 3 of them are going to turn red. But what if we only want to target one? How do we do that? The solution is a really simple 2-step pattern. First, in your HTML, you give that specific element a label, a name, using the class attribute. Then, over in your CSS, you target that specific class. That little piece that does the targeting, in this case the dot followed by the class name, that's called a selector. Then, inside the curly brackets, you declare your styles with a property, like background color, and a value, like red. This pattern is the absolute bedrock of everything you'll do in CSS.
All right, now that we know how to style an element, let's move to our next checkpoint. Understanding how every single element on the page actually occupies space.
This is a really crucial mental model to adopt. Every button, every paragraph, every single image, it's all just a box. And once you understand the rules of that box, you can control any layout. And those rules are all defined by what we call the box model. Now, this isn't just some abstract concept. It's the logical system the browser uses to render everything. Mastering this is pretty much non-negotiable for a web developer. So let's break this model down. Right at the very center, you've got the content itself, your text or your image. Around that, you have padding. Think of padding as internal breathing room for the content. The border is that visible edge that goes around both the content and the padding. And then finally, you have the margin. That's the external space that pushes other elements away. Understanding the difference between padding on the inside and margin on the outside is a really foundational step. Okay, so we understand a single box. The next logical step on our roadmap is arranging all of those boxes together to create a really cohesive, professional-looking layout. By default, elements kind of behave in one of 2 ways. You have block elements, like paragraphs, and they're kind of greedy. They take up the full width they can, and they always force a new line. Then you have inline block elements, like links or images. They're more polite. They only take up the space they need, and they're happy to sit right next to other elements. Knowing this default behavior is key because it helps you understand why you need more advanced layout tools. And for those modern layouts, we have 2 incredibly powerful tools at our disposal. Honestly, these are the workhorses of modern CSS layout, and you are going to use them every single day. Okay, so the crucial thing here is choosing the right tool for the job. You'll want to use Flexbox when you need to arrange things in a single dimension, so either a row or a column. Think of aligning items in a navigation bar. But you'll use Grid when you need to control both rows and columns at the same time, like for a photo gallery or the main layout of an entire web page. A great design isn't just static, right? It feels alive, it responds to the user. This next checkpoint on our journey is all about adding that layer of professional polish that just makes a site feel great to use. Creating interactive hover effects is actually surprisingly simple. First, you just define the element's normal base style. Then, you define how it should look when you hover over it using something called the @hover pseudo-class. But the magic ingredient is the transition property. You add that to the base style, and it tells the browser to animate the change smoothly over a set amount of time. This creates a really fluid interaction instead of a jarring instant change. And to make elements feel like they're literally lifting off the page, we can use the box shadow property. You can apply a subtle shadow all the time, or you can have it just appear on hover. It's a super simple way to add a sense of dimension and physicality to your design. All right, let's place the final checkpoint on our roadmap. Now, this isn't another CSS property. Instead, it's the single most powerful tool you have for mastering everything we've just talked about. So what is it? What's the one tool that lets you dissect any website you want, experiment in real time, and solve basically any styling problem you ever come across? Well, it's the one you already have installed. Every modern browser, Chrome, Firefox, Safari, Edge, you name it, comes with a phenomenal set of developer tools. This is your command center for CSS. DevTools are absolutely essential for a few key reasons. You can right-click on any element on any website and select Inspect to see exactly how it was built. You get access to all the CSS rules, you get a visual breakdown of the box model, and most importantly, you can change values live in the browser to experiment without ever touching your code. It's an unbelievable tool for both building and for learning. And that really is the core idea, isn't it? CSS isn't just a bucket of paint to make things look pretty. It's a set of rules. It's a language of logic. It's how we take raw, structured information and methodically transform it into something that's not just beautiful, but truly interactive and useful for a real person. So, we've laid out the fundamental checkpoints on the CSS roadmap: selectors, the box model, layouts, and your tooling. The path is clear. The only question left is, where are you going to take it? This is Developer Roadmaps. Map your path. Build your career.